It is Thursday, and this is a video for the final. And today we're going to start at the back and go forward. Beginning with a couple of new ones. Henry Purcell's from his English opera, Dido and Aeneas, recitative by hand Belinda. Let's see if I wrote anything else about it. I don't think so. No. Okay. So, English opera, recitative by hand Belinda. It's a recitative from Dido and Aeneas. Oh, there's an A and a B. Oh, yeah, we're looking at PA. Okay. Whoop. Gotta turn that up. And you should be able to hear that. Let's hear it again. So, Thy Hand Belinda, English opera by Henry Purcell from Dido and Aeneas, which is the opera. And let's go to the other piece from that opera, which is a lament. The lament is an aria. It's When I Am Laid in Earth. So it's from the English opera by Henry Purcell, Dido and Aeneas. This is the lament, which is an aria. When I Am Laid in Earth, it's a very, very famous operatic piece. It's built on a descending tetrachord, so listen for that. So the When I Am Laid in Earth to cue you in, a lament, an aria from Dido and Aeneas by Henry Purcell, built on a descending tetrachord. You hear that right away. One of the most famous pieces of operatic music. And then we are going to look at La Croquette Virtuose, which is a courant for lute. A courant for lute is part of a lute repertoire. It is a stylized dance. It is binary in the A repeat, B repeat version. That should be on there. It is usually the tonic to the dominant to the tonic, built on that idea. Denis Gaultier, La Croquette Virtuoso, from La Rhétorique des Doux, D-I-E-U-X, D-I-E-U-X, and I think it's pronounced Doux, but I don't really know. That's 87, and it sounds like a guitar. This is a lute. Hear that repeat? It should go into a B section that would repeat then. And I'm going to throw one more in there that I haven't looked at yet. Grand Motet by Jean-Baptiste Lully. It's a sacred motet. Based on several different ideas. Ritornello, chordal sections, and soloists with orchestration. And that is number 88. 86. Lully. Jean-Baptiste Lully. De Duum, it says. Grand Motet by Lully. And I don't understand that at the beginning, but there's no score, of course. Let's see if I can turn up a score. I hate this part. Te Deum, Te Deum, Grand Motet. Let's see, is that Lully? Lully. Maybe if we say lyrics. It says that this is the conclusion, so I don't know. Let's listen to it again. Buxtehude, we're not doing Buxtehude. Oh, right here, okay. Well, it does seem to say T Deum Laudimus, but I'm not sure about that. Let's listen again. T De Laudimus, Laudimes. And then it would go on and say, De Dominum Confitemur. So, listening for Tite Laudimus would be how it starts. Okay, T-Day is D-E-U-M. He doesn't include the Laudamus part. Tite Laudamus. 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 Domine, te domine, dominu, domina, domine, and laudamus. Laudime, laudimes, laudimes. So that's te D-E-U-M, Deum, and let's just go through it a couple more times. So how they pronounce the words is the issue. Te doa laudamus, I don't know. T-E-D-E-U-M, and then laudamus. Laudamus. And just the pronunciation. That is Jean-Baptiste Lully. It is a grand motet. It includes retinella, a choral section, and soloist and orchestra. It's kind of a combination of a lot of things. And then those are the new ones. And we're going to go to Monteverdi's La Orfeo, which is an opera. And we're going to look at the aria first, aria canzonetta. A canzonetta is a strophic light, less elaborate than a madrigal. So aria canzonetta, vi ricorda o Bosch Ombrosi. And let's look at that one. That's 74. 74. Vi ricorda Umbrosi. That is a spelling word, and I need to work at it. The incipit in the title is Vi ricorda Umbrosi. I'm going to say it like it's spelled. V Rick R-I-C Ricorda O Boschi Boschi, which is probably a hard K sound. Boschi Umbrosi. It is a canzonetta, which is light and strophic and less elaborate than a madrigal, and it is an aria canzonetta. Broska, that K sound's got to come from the Boschi, CHI being a K sound. Ombrosi. That is from the opera Orfeo. And I do not know what Orfeo is about. Let's see if I wrote anything about it. Oh, here we go. Orfeo goes off to retrieve his beloved from Hades, and they're going to let her go back, providing if he looks at her on the way back, he has to not look at her, and he ends up doing that. And then I think he's kept in Hades. And there are three pieces from that opera. There's that aria, and then there's another aria, which is not the canzonetta, Mira de Mira Orfeo. And this one is not hard to recognize either. Oh, that's the B. Mira de D-E-H, Mira Orfeo. Mira de Mira Orfeo. One more time. Mira de Mira Orfeo. That is from Claudio Monteverdi's L'Orfeo. It's an opera excerpt. It is an aria, and it's actually kind of a nice little piece looking around the woods and the meadows. And then I think this is about the news of the death of Eurydice, who's Orfeo's beloved. It's a dialogue and recitative. It's a caso acerbo. And let's hear that one. There you have it. A caso acerbo. Again, it's from the opera. It's an opera excerpt from Claudio Monteverdi's Orfeo from Act 2. And then, let's see, after that, a ritornella is a refrain. And we're going to go back a little, and we're going to listen to some of the instrumental pieces with no words, and these are the hardest. The first one is Arcangelo Corelli. It's from his Trio Sonata in D major, Opus 3. A trio is made up of just a couple of instruments, maybe two melody instruments. It has a basso continuum and probably a chordal instrument. There are 4 parts of this that we're going to listen to, and you got to hear that there aren't a lot of instruments in it. And we're going to look at the A part, which is the grave. The grave is melancholy, and it has a pause in the beginning, which is pretty significant. It's, I think, after 4 measures, and that's A 94. Grave. Corelli's Grave. Trio Sonata. You can kind of tell it's only a couple instruments. Long pause. Sounds like a repeat. Let's check it out from the beginning again. So that is a repeat. It's a long pause and then it repeats. It's from Trio Sonata in D major, Opus 3, from Arcangelo Corelli. It's Opus 3, number 2. Lots of luck on that. Opus 3, I might remember. That's the grave. We're going to compare it to the adagio. The grave has that long pause. The adagio and that's a lot sadder. You may hear that trill in there. Listen for the trill if you think it's the adagio. There's no break. It's just a couple of notes or a couple of instruments again. It's a trio sonata, which actually usually has 4 instruments. It's trio sonata in D major, Opus 3 from number 2, but it's Opus 3, and that's the adagio. It has that little trill in it. And then he has 2 allegros listed, and we'll listen to both of them. And they just have the same answers. Allegro. Here's one allegro. Kind of dance-like. Let's listen to another one. The other allegro is this one. And they're both by Arcangelo Corelli from his trio sonata in D major, opus number 3. A sonata usually has 2 kind of solo instruments with a basso continuum, which also has a melody, and usually a chordal instrument. So this is the other allegro. This one always sounds like an orchestra to me. Boy, they make that sound big for just a couple instruments. And then we are going to listen to Vivaldi, which is the other, is a concerto. A concerto has a solo instrument that's accompanied by an orchestra. So this is the concerto for violin and orchestra. Again, concerto, solo instrument accompanied by an orchestra. Sonata, trio sonata, is 2 melody instruments and a basso continuum, which is usually some kind of bass instrument, and a chordal instrument. But now we're going to listen to Vivaldi has concertos. Concertos have accompaniment by the orchestra. So the first one is, let's say 96. The first one is an allegro. So this is Vivaldi's allegro from opus number 3. So they're both opus number 3. The last one was from number 2. This is from number 6. Let's look on that. This is a concerto for violin and orchestra in A minor. It's from L'Astro Armonico. Vivaldi. L'Astro, L''estro, Armonico. Armonico. This is the allegro. Listen for the orchestra. think it always sounds like that to the end. Hard to tell, there's a whole orchestra in there. And let's compare that to Corelli's allegros. So that's Vivaldi, this is Corelli. Corelli, it's much faster tempo. I guess not. Yeah, here it goes. Does sound like it less instruments. And his other allegro from Corelli, these are trio sonatas. And then you hear Vivaldi's. This is Vivaldi's allegro, which is from a concerto. Almost sounds minor, huh? Not. So those are the different allegros. And then Vivaldi's Largo, which would be compared to Corelli's Grave and Adagio. So Vivaldi's Largo. I'm skipping around. So I never hear the complete orchestra in there. Let's do a little bit of it again and we'll compare it. So that's Vivaldi, and that's Vivaldi's Largo. This is the Grave in the trio sonata by Corelli. So that was Vivaldi is the concerto, and it's the Lustro Armonico, the concerto, and that was his Largo. This is Grave by Corelli from the trio sonata. Certainly not a Largo. And then his Grave, Corelli. Whoops, I got the wrong one there. I was wondering why that sounded weird. That was Vivaldi's Presto. Well, it goes really fast and you hear the whole orchestra in there. And let's go back and I'm looking for, we're going to listen to the Largo again. Vivaldi's Largo. This is B. And then Corelli's Grave. long pause. So that's Corelli's Trio Sonata Grave. And then this is Corelli's Adagio. And hear the trill. So that's the Adagio, Corelli's Adagio, and then there was Vivaldi's Largo B. Vivaldi's Largo. Slow, no pause, no trills. Just a little bit more of it. That's Vivaldi's Largo. It's very slow. There's no pause. There's no trill. Let's go back and listen again to Vivaldi's Allegro and his Presto and compare it to Corelli's. So Vivaldi's Allegro from the Concerto Lestro Armonico, Concerto for Violin and Orchestra in A minor, Opus 3. And the Allegros. Allegro. So Allegro, let's compare it to the other Allegros. Allegros would be Allegro. This is Corelli. Allegro. And go back to Vivaldi's Allegro. Vivaldi. Corelli. That's one of Corelli's. This is the other Corelli. This one sounds like it's based on some kind of triple meter. So that's Corelli. Let's do the other Corelli. And the other Corelli. Allegro. Trio Sonata. And then we have the Presto, which is Vivaldi. Presto. Let's go back to the Allegro. Vivaldi's Allegro. You can hear the whole orchestra in that, and the Presto, which are somewhat similar. Faster though, huh? And then go back to the Allegro. Almost sounds minor, and you can hear the orchestra. All right, we're going to move on to arias are strophic, by the way. Recitatives are portions of dialogue. So then we move on to Bach. And Bach is quite recognizable, the prelude and the postlude. Or the prelude and the fugue. Here's the prelude. You hear that improvised section in the prelude. And then the fugue, much more organized, imitative. That is Bach. And then we have Bach's cantata, religious cantata, Non cum der Heiden Heiland. This is the chorus. That's 103. And I'm going to have to pick this up in a second. I wish I could just pause it. We seem to have a pause. So we'll have to pick it up in the next